Morning all. I've been doing some thinking recently, which admittedly can be dangerous, but I've been thinking about the future of this GS and myself. Time to go for a spin. Morning everybody and welcome aboard. Now, before we continue with today's video, I want to reveal a startling statistic. There's a mouthful. And that statistic is 82% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. Therefore, if any of my videos have meant anything to you, could you please like and subscribe? You've no idea how much that not just helps the channel, but will also ultimately help my long-term goal, which is to do this full time and bring you more videos. Okay, thank you very much for listening to that, and on with today's show. So, I'm heading to the beach today. There's not many days in Ireland I can come out without a neck warmer on a motorbike. In fact, this is the first time this year. I must find out what the temperature is. I'll tell you now. 17.5 degrees Celsius. That's unbelievable. And it's still before 10 o'clock in the morning. So all bodes well. Of course, I'm on my Black Beauty, which is what today's video is about. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a precursor to this video. Once I've pulled out of this junction, again, old man syndrome, I can't multitask. So yeah, the precursor is, since the new GS was coming out late autumn last year, I was toying into upgrading this for one of them. I'll not go into depth because there's loads of videos about that. Rode one, loved it, didn't want to pay an extra 20 grand as well as trading this bike in. And so then I've been looking at the Africa Twin, the new Adventure Sports, the one with the 19-inch front wheel, and the DCT, a more road-friendly version of the Africa Twin. So looking at that, I've also been looking at the Triumph 900 Tiger Pro, and then there was another bike as well. I was actually looking at a Multistrada as well. All to replace this. And again, I've touched on what I'm about to say a few times in videos, and I think it's so I won't go into too much depth about that, but I think it's all part and parcel of to do with our addiction to motorbikes, and we're always wanting the next best thing, the latest thing. Well, I certainly do, and I just have never been happy for very long with all of the bikes that I have, you know, and I hate that about myself. I've even made a video about that, so again, I won't go into too much detail about that. This is a beautiful little part of the world. Did I mention I'm heading to the beach? In fact, my sat-nav says I'm only 10 minutes away from the beach, which is great. Spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you what the decision is now, and then I'll tell you my reasons why. So my decision on whether I'm going to trade this bike in for something else or keep it is, drum roll please, I'm keeping it. Or I'm keeping her, because I have this newfound affection with this bike. Yes, I've had a few things go wrong of late. First of all, the suspension went front and rear. Was it earlier this year? But my local dealer fixed it for €1,200 instead of the BMW dealer's quote of €4,500. God, you wouldn't want to meet this coming around the corner in a car. Not sure I want to meet him in a motorbike, to be honest. And then the other thing, which has just recently happened, if you were watching the Northumberland 250 series I did, the throttle quadrant broke. Which apparently is, well, as are all of these problems, as I've experienced of late as well, in cars and motorbikes. Any dealer, I think it's their favourite sort of catchphrase, oh yeah, it's a common problem. A common problem. So apparently the throttle quadrant is a common problem to go in these. So just replace that at less than half the cost of a BMW dealer price again. My local dealer in Kells, CC's Motorcycles in Kells, took it in and replaced the throttle quadrant for €300. So delighted with that. Just in case you're wondering what this is, by the way, if you're looking at the throttle quadrant, if you're looking what that is, that's the start-stop remote for the Osmo Action 4, which I'm using today. So a couple of things gone wrong, and then I sort of analysed why I was feeling like this with a couple of things going wrong. And actually with the suspension, I was more peeved with the way I was treated by the BMW dealer rather than the actual fault itself, because like I say, the bike is 8 years old this year, so I'm fully aware and I fully understand things are going to go wrong and need replaced and whatever else, you know. The other thing on top of that to throw into the mix is that I felt as though the bike was getting a bit dated, a bit like myself, and and just the sort of analog display, and you know, I think that's partly down to the Street Triple, which I currently own as well, which has all of everything on board, and a beautiful display as well, and it's just sort of state of the art, and it's new, and it's in the 21st century, for want of a better phrase. I feel as though this has shown signs of its age, but there's a lot of character to that as well, a lot of charm about that. But on top of that as well, and I'm a firm believer in things happen for a reason, so if you stay tuned to this channel, you'll see in the very near future that I have something coming to stick on the dashboard here, which is the Car Parade digital display with Apple CarPlay and everything. So they're sending me one out to do a review. That'll not be coming anytime soon, because I've explained to the company I will not be doing a review within the first week of having it. I'll use it for at least a month and then tell my subscribers exactly what I think, not what the company wants me to say. So the bike, the GS She, is staying with me. I've made that decision, and I'm delighted with that decision. The other thing I was worried about with the Africa Twin is that because I wanted the DCT version, it carries an extra 10 kilograms of weight just because of the DCT. So I think all up weight, curb weight on the new Africa Twin with DCT is something like 263 kilograms, and it's top heavy. As you all know, a great characteristic of the GS is that it carries its weight down low because of the boxer engine. Now, one of the reasons I got rid of my first bike when I got back into biking, the FGR 1300, is that if you leaned it over slightly at a junction, it was gone. So I must be crazy for thinking that I'm going to be able to remedy that, because the Africa Twin is notoriously top heavy. So I've parked that, I've put that to bed. The Multistrada over here in Ireland, the Pikes Peak actually was the one I was looking at. They're absolutely stunning, and I know they're incredible bikes, but in Ireland they're 34 grand. And on a trade-in, the best I would get really for this bike is 12 grand. I'm certainly not going to add another 22 grand into the mix just to get another adventure style bike. And in fairness, I don't even take the bike off road. I had a CRF 300 for that, and I got rid of that bug. You know, I scratched that itch over a year and loved it, don't get me wrong. It is something I'll explore again, but I was offered a great price for the CRF. I just couldn't say no. And the other thing to mention is that again, after the Northumberland 250, I found that my arms were aching quite a bit. Now, we were on the bikes for about 8 or 9 hours a day, so it was intense riding. Well, it certainly was with the weather. We were battered with the elements. But yeah, my arms were really aching at the end of every day. And you know, I have the cruise control. I'm able to take both hands off and get the blood flowing and everything, but it still wasn't good enough. So I've invested in a set of bar risers, the ones which also sweep the bars back as well, just so I get a sort of natural kink in my arms rather than holding my arms locked out straight. So too early to tell. I only fitted them last night, and you know, I have a few more trips and tours planned on this bike over the summer, so I'll keep you posted about how they're going, if they've made any difference. If I'm honest, I can't feel any difference at the minute. I think all they do is raise the bars by 1.5 inches and sweep them back by 1 inch, something like that. So very minor adjustment, but according to people who have them, they make a world of difference. So I shall see again on a longer tour. Oh yeah, the other thing as well, and it's only down to a bit of guilt. I feel as though I've neglected this bike because I've been looking around at trading her in and getting something else. I feel as though I've nearly been cheating on her or something. So to spoil the bike, I'm looking into getting a fully ceramic coated by a professional company here in Ireland and ACF 50, and you know, just a bit of TLC, a bit of a makeover. Other than that, all is working and feeling great with the bike. I got one of those mesh seat covers, well, very kindly given to me from Trev when we did the Northumberland 250 again. And on a day like this, where I'm wearing my motorcycle jeans with all of the protection in, I can feel the airflow underneath my backside. Oh, good morning. Sorry, slightly distracted there. I can feel the airflow under my backside there, and it's absolutely glorious. Now, also, when we were doing the 250, where it was torrential rain, it stopped me getting completely soaked through on my backside because the rain stayed within the mesh and didn't seep through my clothes from the seat. So that's made a big difference as well. So yeah, there's a few things I'm sort of tarting the bike up with, for want of a better phrase. And now my friend Kira has a wonderful coffee truck down here, and I shall definitely be paying her a visit this morning. And there she is. I'll not just call into her yet, because I have a few things to tell you about yet. This is Port Beach, by the way, on the east coast of Ireland. I'd love to know how you feel about my decision. I've always loved this. This isn't just me on a whim thinking, oh yeah, I like her again. I've always loved this bike. Like I mentioned, it's all part of the addiction where we want the latest and the greatest. Thank you very much. Beautiful dogs. And I'm constantly yearning to feed that addiction. And as I've mentioned in a separate video, I really hate that side of myself, when this bike is, well, more than I'll ever need. And if I do anything long distance, I do it on this bike. On top of that, I also love how this bike looks, which is what attracted me to it in the first place. This is the triple black GS, the 1200 as well. It's not even the 1250. And I just love the colour scheme. I've looked at tarting it up with, you know, the yellow plastic indicator cover, which goes on the front. Even the crash bars, which are the upper crash bars, which will come up towards the fuel tank. And I'm doing it for the hell of it again. And I don't like them when I sort of visualise what it'll look like on this bike. I just don't like it at all. So I'm just sticking with the bike the way it is, which is why I bought it. So there you go. All of that beating myself up and the anxiety, the stress I cause myself wanting the latest and greatest, when actually, when it comes down to it, I have exactly what I want. This bike is amazing in every way. As I've always said about the bike, it's my go anywhere, do anything bike. So there you have it, folks. Oh God, I love this time of year. Who doesn't? Especially if you're a biker. And it's the day after the most impressive Northern Lights Aurora display in Ireland for over 2 decades. I'll show you a little shot of what I photographed here last night of the Northern Lights. Well, I'll show you a couple of little shots. And this is the crew I was filming with, photographing the Northern Lights as well. Anyway, that's enough of me whittling on for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, as always, folks, and sure, I'll be back on YouTube this time next week. Well, not this time, because I don't know what time you're watching the video, but I'll be back on YouTube next week, next Saturday morning, in fact, 8 o'clock in the morning. Have a great week, everybody. Ride safe, and chat to you soon. Dave Perry, Wheelie Good TV, over and out. And there's Kira. Ah, yes.